नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter number 3, Verse number 14. So prayers of Vasudeva to Krishna, who was born from Devaki in the prison. So Vasudeva saw Krishna manifest with 4 hands and wearing all the insignia of Vishnu, Srivatsa and Kaustubha and club, lotus, disc, etc. And then he began praying to him, understanding that he is Vishnu and also his son. So he had this mood of Aishwarya towards him, means awe and reverence, and also fatherly affection, mixture of these two. So in the previous verse we read that he said he has understood that he is Bhagavan beyond Prakriti, spiritual and the immanent being. Now in this verse he says, Saiva swaprakritya idam srishtva trigunatmakam tadanu tvam hi pravishta eva bhavyase. So that very personality, that very Ishvara who created this, so in the beginning, agre srishtva swaprakritya idam, after creating this universe by his prakriti, by his nature or his energy called Maya, which contains Trigunatmakam, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Then Tadanu Tvam hi pravishta eva bhavyase. Then he did not enter into it, but it appeared as if he entered. So there is a statement in the Upanishad, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Anupravishat. After creating, he entered it. And here he says that he did not. Tadanutva, he apravishta. Apravishta means not pravishta, not entered. Pravishta eva, but also as if he has entered. Bhavyase is thought of or meditated or considered. So this is difficult statement.
Yes.
And he is going to make more difficult statements in the upcoming slokas. They don't want to make simple prayer for simple people, make complicated statements. Maybe he was too much in Sambhrama. Yeah, just like we saw the Devas, they are also making these difficult statements. Now Vasudeva is making also. Nanu bhotata tadgrihe pravishtam mam parichinnam eva jatam eva janasi atah kimapi me tattvam na janasi iti ashankya swagyanam avishkurvanah saeva. So imagine Krishna tells to Vasudeva that, my dear father, because I have entered in your house, so you consider that I am limited in size, parichinna, and therefore you don't know my tattva, who I am. So if he says like this, or Vasudeva thought that if he thinks like this, let me make it complicated. So then he speaks the complex prayers. That's not really true. So he is showing his jnana, swagyanam avishkurvanah. He is manifesting his knowledge of Krishna here. Saeva ukta swarupa eva tvam स्वप्रकृत्या स्वीय प्रधान शक्तिया इदं जगत् सृष्ट्वा तदनु अप्रविष्ट इव प्रविष्ट इव च भाव्यसे निरूप्यसे. So it says that very form which was described in the previous sloka, which he says I have understood, because in the previous sloka he says viditavasi, that I have understood you, and then Krishna thinks, well, not really. So then he is proving now how he has understood. So he says that with that very form, in that very Swarupa, you created this world by your Pradhan Shakti. And idam jagat srishtva, after creating this universe, tadanu, afterwards. So he is making a interesting commentary. There is only once the word iva has been used, but he duplicates it. Apravishta iva, pravishta iva, bhavyase. That you appear to be entered and also not entered. The direct meaning, if you use it only once, is that you have not entered but you appear to be entered. But if you repeat it, apravishta iva and pravishta iva, it appears that you have not entered. It also appears that you have entered, which means you don't know which one is it. You are both. And in both it is eva, which means that you have neither entered nor not entered. Because if it appears like you have entered, which means you have not entered. It appears like you have not entered, means you have entered. So why not simply say that? So he says, apravishta iva pravishta iva cha bhavyase nirupyase. That you are described as if you have entered, like you have entered or not entered. So how is this? Jagato antar uplabhya manatvat iti apravishta iva natu apravishta. So because you have entered in this universe, because he has taken birth, so he is inside. So he says you have entered, but it's not really you have entered. So therefore you are apravishta, as if not entered. Although you have entered, but it is like not entering, because you are not really here. So antaruplabhya manatvat apravishta iva natu apravishta. You are inside the universe, yet you have not really entered, and therefore it is as if you have not entered. So bahishcha uplabhyamanatvat pravishta iva natu pravishta. And because you are also available outside, because he is also available in Golok Vrindavan, therefore it appears as if he has entered. So because he is outside, he should say you have not entered, right? Yes? But it says because you are outside, therefore it appears as if you have entered. And because you are inside the prison, so he should say you have entered. So for that he says, it appears you have not entered. What do you think of this explanation? That's what he is writing. Confusing? So let's read it again. Why it is what he is trying to say. So listen again. Jagataha antar uplabhyamanatvat apravishta eva natu pravishta. na tu apravishta. Because you are seen inside the universe, therefore, na tu apravishta. You have not entered. But it appears like as if you have not entered. Apravishta means as if you have not entered. Right? Na tu apravishta. Not that you have not entered.
In other words, you haven't entered.
Hmm?
In other words, you haven't entered.
Right. But he says this is apravishta here. Means you have entered, but it looks like you have not entered. That is the meaning of apravishta eva. Because why he is saying as if you have not entered? What does it mean as if you have not entered? Means you have entered. So, so he is applying the meaning of apravishta eva as you have entered, and pravishta eva as you have not entered. This is what he is taking the meaning. Difficult way of putting it.
So, when he says not to apravishta, is that a double negative?
Na tu
Not to
apravishta.
apravishta.
Not that you have not entered.
Right. So you're saying you have entered. It
Yes.
seems like you haven't, but you have.
It seems like you have not entered. Okay. Apravishta eva.
Yeah.
Right? Na tu apravishta. Not that you have not entered.
Right. So you have.
Yes.
It
So-
seems like you haven't, but you have.
Yes.
Is in just.
So
Yes?
that's what I'm saying, that he's taking straightforward meaning of apravishta eva means as if you have not entered. But he's saying that as if you have not entered means that you have entered. But instead of saying you have entered, he's saying natu apravishta. Not that you have not entered.
Yes. Okay.
So he wants you to rotate your head till you say, okay, move on, let's not talk about it. It's okay, whatever he's saying. Right? And then he says, Bahischa uplabhyamanatvat pravishta iva. Because you are also seen outside, therefore it appears as if you have entered. Because you are outside. Means only it looks as if you have entered. Which means you have not entered. Natu pravishta means not entered. So pravishta eva means not entered, and apravishta eva means entered. That's how he is applying eva twice.
It's pravishta eva, not to pravishta, ityartha.
Hmm.
You don't see that there's no second eva there, is there? In the verse.
Yeah, he has repeated.
It says it appears that you have entered, but you have not entered.
He has repeated eva twice. I mean,
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
taken.
I get that. I understand he hasn't.
एवमेव सर्वत्र वर्तमानस्त्वं मद्गृहे प्रविष्ट इव न तु प्रविष्ट. So in the same way, although you are everywhere, so it appears you have entered in my house, but actually you have not entered. So this is the Aishwarya. He's trying to explain his Aishwarya. Because if he's everywhere, that is me, that is Aishwarya, right? Only Ishvara is just all pervading. But you are also seen in my house. So therefore it looks like you, as if you have entered, which means not really entered, as if. सर्वदा एव वर्तमानस्त्वं जात एव न तु जाता. Although you are ever existing, therefore it is as if you are born, not really born. Because if he is always there, where is the question of taking birth? Taking birth means you are not having the body before. Now you have it. तेन च सर्वव्यापक मूर्तेस्तव कंस किमपि कर्तुं न शक्नुयात् इति जानामि एव इति भावः. So this is the point he is trying to make, that you are all pervading and yet you have a form. So because when you have a form, that is limited, and anything which is all pervading cannot have a form, because form is limited. But in your case you are all pervading and yet you have a form. So what does it mean? That Kamsa cannot kill you. I know this. Therefore I am free. So therefore don't say that I have not understood you. Because he says Viditavasi, I know you. You have become known to me. And this is what he is saying, that this is how you have become known to me. Okay, complex slokas coming. More complex coming now. You will not know this way. So now he says, Yathe me vikrita bhavasthatha te vikritai saha नाना वीर्या पृथक भूता विराजम जनयन्ति ही सन्निपत्य समुत्पाद्य दृश्यन्ते नुगता इव प्रागेव विद्यमानत्वात् न तेषां हि संभवा एवं भवान् बुद्ध्यनुमेय लक्षणैर्ग्राह्य गुणैः सन्नपि तद् गुणाग्रहः अनावृतत्वाद् बहिरन्तरं न ते सर्वस्य सर्वात्मन आत्मवस्तुनः. So just like these elements which are avikrita, which have not undergone any vikara or transformation, they, along with the vikritas, those who have undergone transformation, Nana Virya Prithak Bhuta Virajam Janayanti. With their various characteristics, they certainly create this Virat Purusha or this universe.
Could you repeat who creates this? All the elements? Okay, so both the non-transforming as well as the transforming ones.
Yes, they combine together. Sannipatya. The word Sannipatya, which is in the second sloka, has to be applied to the first sloka. This is a very complicated way of making Anvaya. So, Avikrita Bhava, Nana Virya, Avikrita Bhava, Vikritai Saha, Prithak Bhuta, Virajam, Janayanti. And Sannipatya means Vikritai Saha Sannipatya, joining or combining together. Virajam Janayanti. They create the Viraj. Okay. And then Samutpadya Drishyante Anugata iva Prageva Vidyamanatvat Na Tesham hi Sambhava. And then after creating the samsara, then what happens? That Drishyante Anugatavi, it appears as if they have also entered into the Brahmanda. Again the word Iva has been used. Anugata Iva Drishyante, as if they have entered, it is seen like that. Prageva Vidyamanatvat Netesham Yah Sambhava. But because they were existing before the universe was created, therefore it is not possible that they can enter in it. So he's trying to make the same point. He's like giving an example that Krishna was existing before, and then he creates, and then he enters, but actually he doesn't enter. Just like the avikrita elements combine and then create the universe, and then it appears they are also there, but they are not there because they are already there before they created. So therefore, Eva Drishyante Anugata Eva. And then this 17 is even more difficult sloka. So unless you really know the context, nobody can explain what is being said here. Evam bhavan buddhyanumeya lakshanair grahya gunai sannapi tada gunagraha. In the same way, the previous one was the example and this is the exemplified. Just like that, in the same way, bhavan, you, buddhi anumeya lakshanai grahye gunai sanapi tad gunagraha. That you have these gunas. Now the word guna is a very difficult word. It can mean the gunas of prakriti, it can mean the senses, it can mean the sense objects. So it looks like here that guna means which is the sense object, because it is modified by the word grahya. So grahya means that which you experience. Grahya, grahaka. Grahaka is the experiencer and grahya is that which is experienced. So grahya gunaihi. So then guna must be sense object, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, guna gunesu vartante iti matvana sajjate. So guna gunesu vartante. So guna means the senses and gunesu means sense objects. The sense objects are absorbed in sense. The senses are object in sense objects. Knowing this, the yogi remains aloof. Right? Like yukto manyet tattvit, naiva kinchit karomi te yukto manyet tattvit, pasyan shrinuvan speshan jigran, asanan gachan sasanapi. Right? You read that in Nirdananda Prabhu's class, all the satris. Right? One day you were teaching this. So he's seeing, watching, smelling this, touching, but says, I don't do anything. So this is the grahya here, grahya gunai and buddhi anumeya lakshanai. And these gunas, they are buddhi anumeya. With your mind you make an inference. So sanapi tad gunagraha. But you are beyond the guna. You are agraha, means you are gunatit. So gunatit means indriyatit. Guna here does not mean prakriti guna, but the senses. So although you are with all these sense objects, but you are beyond sense objects. Anavritatvad bahirantaram nate sarvasya sarvatmana atmavastu. And you are not covered by anything because you are all pervading. You cannot cover an all pervading thing by anything. So bahirantaram nate, there is nothing which is inside or outside of you. Inside, outside is only for those things which are limited. If something is all pervading, what is inside and what is outside. If you go to the sun, then you cannot say this is day because there is no night. Day and night are relative to each other. This all the time light, then No day, no night. So something is all pervading, you will say, well, there is inside. No, there is no inside because there is no outside. In Nyaya, there is a principle that things which are all pervading, they are not anywhere. Because if you ask, where is the sky? Sky is all pervading. Akasha is all pervading. Where is it? It's not anywhere. Because it cannot be in anything. It does not have a basis for it. It does not have an ashraya. There is no adhara, adhe, bhava, sambandha there. So all pervading things don't exist anywhere. Interesting.
Is it that they don't exist or they don't have a location?
They are not located in anything.
Okay. But they're still accepted to exist, right?
Yeah. They are everywhere, but they are not in anything.
To be everywhere means to be in nothing.
So is similar statement here. Anavritatvad bahirantaram nate. Because you are anavrita, you cannot be covered by anything, which means you are all pervading. Therefore, there is nothing inside or outside of you. Okay? Because you are everywhere. Avrita, vritatvat means everywhere, existing. Anavrita, there is no place where you are not there. So there is no inside, there is no outside. Because if you say there is inside, that means there must be outside. But outside is not there, therefore inside is not there. If there is no death, there is no birth. If there is no birth, there is no death. Because jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu dhruvam janma mritasya ja. They go together. Okay. So then what are you? Sarvasya Sarvatman. You are the Atma of everyone. And Atma Vastuna. And you are your own Swarupa. You are not dependent on anything. And although you are everywhere, you have no inside or outside, still you are here in the prison. You have taken birth from Devaki. This is what he is saying. He says, this is what I have understood. Vidito asi. Because he started his prayer, which is very strange to say that, Vidito asi bhavan sakshat purusha prakriti. I have understood. What is that I have understood? This is what I have understood. Okay. Yes.
Could you explain again the Atma Vastunaha?
Your Atma is Vastu. You are not.
So you are actually existing.
Hmm?
You are truly existing, this is what he says.
Yes. You are not. Your Vastu is not on some dependent on something else. These words you can interpret the way you like. There is no problem.
Babaji,
Yes.
so what is the mood of Vasudeva when he is on his prayer?
This is what we are trying to understand. So these verses can be explained in many ways. If you read Sridhar Swami's commentary, he explains everything in an impersonal way here. Completely impersonal. But the way Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining them, he is trying to. You see, the problem is that Krishna is going to move from Mathura to Vraj. This is the real thing which is going on. What is being established here is that Krishna is going to move from Mathura to Gokul. And when he goes to Gokul, he is going to perform his Nar Leela. Just like. Okay? So now, for us who are here in the material world, who are going to read Bhagavatam, if it is not established from the very beginning that he is Bhagwan, then we are going to misunderstand his Leela. This is what people do all the time. Oh, what is this? He was stealing the clothes of the gopis. He has no inside or no outside. Just like you, right? He saw this now. He says Anavar Tattva. So whose cloth is he going to steal? From whom is he going to steal? What is that he cannot see? What is that he likes to see by taking away their clothes? Because we impose our own mentality on him. And yet he is doing something. What he is doing is completely different, but we impose our nonsense onto him. And then we say, look at this. And they say, these Hindus, they worship him. He is God. Just see how degraded. This is how when the Britishers came to India, they were trying to purify Indians, converting them into Christianity. So these guys are so totally in ignorance. Maya. Yeah, they still think, they actually seriously think like that. Because their God is no form, nothing, so no impurity can touch. Our God is walking, talking, doing all these things, funny things also. So therefore, if you see the prayers of the Devas, they also start like this. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasayoni Nihitam Cha Satya. And you read Ekayano, Siyan, Dvifal and all that. Why? What is the reason for this complicated prayers, We have also seen prayers before. They were not so complicated. In the first canto, there are prayers of Kunti Devi, then Uttara is praying, right? They are not so difficult, easily understandable. Krishnaya, Vasudevaya, all this, right? Nabha Pankaj Maline. So, why is this complex situation is being created here? It is to make sure that you first get this in your head before you move down, because from 4th chapter onwards, the whole thing will twist. Then Krishna will come in his Madhurya mood, and people will make fun of him, those who do not understand. So what Vyasadeva is doing is that he is laying down the foundation. We have to have this very clear in our head that Madhurya is founded on Aishwarya. Below Madhurya is Aishwarya. Madhurya is not just Madhurya people talk about. Oh no need to study Bhagavad Gita, no need to study this, just Nikunj Leela. So if you don't have this, then this Nikunj Leela becomes something else. So that Nikunj Leela is also based on this. Therefore it is very important to study this, to understand and then not forget it, because tendency will be again to impose our material experience onto Krishna. This is a very strong tendency of the human mind. Whenever you see a movie, then what do? You impose your ideas. Sadharanikaran. That's called Sadharanikaran. And then that's how you relish. That's how people relish. But that is a different type of relish, that is material. To relish the actual rasa of bhakti, you have to be situated in this. Otherwise you will immediately impose. You don't have to do it, it happens naturally. That's how mind works. Our mind works like that. So it's very difficult to not impose and follow the thread which is being described. That is why Bhagavatam says, Pibata Bhagavatam rasamale muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. So that rasika is forget, but also something more is said there that has to be understood. So that is the effort which is being made here. I don't think Krishna is just some cowherd boy. Okay, nice, young, beautiful cowherd boy. He is more. He is the supreme tattva. He is Swam Bhagavan. And he is the foundation of everything. So therefore, sarvasya sarvatmana. You are the Atma of everybody. And if he is the Atma of everybody, what is that he has to see or steal? From whom is he going to steal? That's why he says when he ate the clay and they complained, Yashoda came and said, you have eaten? He says, no. Naham bhakshitvanam vai sarve mithya visansina. Yadi satya giraste hi. Says, I have not eaten. They are all telling lies. And if you don't believe me, see my mouth. So Yashoda said, okay, show me. So he showed. Then he showed who he is. So he is Sarvatmana and he is Atma Vastu. Means his Swarup is not material. He is transcendent. So this is what Sri Krishna is. So now see the commentary. Atra Drishtanta. So first he gives an example. यथा इमे अविकृता भावा महदादयो ब्रह्मांडे प्रविष्टापि न प्रविष्टा तत्र पुनर्जातवत् प्रतीतापि न जाता तथैव त्वम् इत्यर्थ. So he said, just like in this Brahmanda we have this avikrita bhava, the bhavas which are not transformed like Mahat, etc., which were existing before the Brahmanda came into existence. So they appear as if they have entered into this and as if they have taken another birth, but it is not like that. So you are also like that. You existed before the creation and now you have come in it. Drishtantam vivrinoti. So he explains the example. First he just gives the meaning. What is the sense? What is being conveyed here? And this is an example which is to explain Krishna's appearance. So te avikrita vikritai sodas vikarai saha nana virya paraspar vishadris swarupapi prithak bhuta परस्परम अमिलितापि सन्निपत्य चैतन्य प्रेरणावशात मिलति भूय विराजम जनयन्ति. So these Mahat Tattva etc., they combined with the Shodash Vikaras. So 11 senses including the mind, 5 Gyanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, mind and Panchbhutas. So these are called the Vikaras. Because with this only the creation is performed. What we are seeing in this creation are basically 3 things. They are instruments of perception, the Indriyas, object of perception, and one who is getting it, the Manas. And then Ahankara etc. are on top, and beyond is Atma. So these 16 are called as Vikaras because these are the mixture which is undergoing all the changes here. So he says because of the presence of Chaitanya, consciousness, they combine together. If you remember second canto of Bhagavatam, it is described that Virat Purusha was created and then all different divinities enter into it, but Tada na uttashtata. Still he did not get up. He did not get up. There is a big description. Everybody enters into it. Indra, Varna, Charana, all this. He did not get up. So finally Purusha enters, then he gets up. So the meaning is that without the presence of the Purusha, all these elements, they don't mix together. So that's what he's saying, that Chaitanya Prerana Vashat Militi Bhuya Virajam Janayanti. So then they create. So although here it is described as if these material elements are creating the universe, but he makes it clear that they create, but creation happens only by the inspiration of the conscious element, not independent. Tatascha virajam samutpadya anugata iva tatra pravishta iva drishyante natu pravishta. So then after creating the viraja, they anugata, as if they are following it. Because coming inside means they are following it. So it appears as if they have entered, but really speaking they have not entered. So this is the example given. Krishna has come inside, and as if he has come inside, but he is really not inside. Because how can he be inside of anything? So this is what in Bhagavad Gita also he says, Naham te su avasthita pasyame yogam ashwaram. That everything is in me, I am in everything, and I am not in them. See my yoga. Tad bahirapi tesham vartmanatvat. So why is it said that they have not entered? Because Mahatattva, etc., they also exist outside. Right? They are layers outside the universe also. They are coverings of Mahat, etc. It's not that the Mahatattva or Prakriti has completely transformed into these 16 vikaras. Some part transformed, they still stayed outside. So it is not that they have entered, but it is also as if they have entered. Tatha tatra viraji samudbhuta iva drishyante natu samudbhuta tatra hetumava. So then it appears as if they have taken birth or they have appeared inside the universal form, but really speaking they have not, because they existed before. So hetumaha prageva iti. So prageva vidyamanatvat, because they were pre-existing. So if something is pre-existing, it cannot take birth from something which is post-existent. So in the same way, if Krishna was there before, then it is not that he is taking birth from Devaki. So you have Viraji Sambhava Utpatti. Sambhava means Utpatti. Tesam iha Sambhava. Kincha ime tattad gunair lipta eva bhavanstu karnatvena pravishtopi alipta eva ityahe evam bhavan. So at least here in this case, all these elements, they are becoming implicated, or they are part of Prakriti, they have those gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. But Krishna is not like that. Even when he is inside the universe, he is not implicated in the gunas of Prakriti. In case of Mahatattva or whatever, Ahankara, they are also part of Prakriti, and they all have Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And the Vikaras, the transformation from them also has Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. But Krishna is not like that. So therefore he says, Evam Bhavan Swaprakritiya Shrishte Jagati Pravishto Api, that you create this universe by your Prakriti, Trigunatmika, Prakriti containing the three gunas, and Buddhya Anumeyam Eva Lakshanam Yesham Tai Swaprakashatva Akhanda Jnananandadi Bhir Rahayai Swopade Gunai Sahasan Sada Virajmanopi Tad Gun Grahe Tasya Prakriter Gunan Lepkan Dukhatmakan anandekmayastvam ne grinasi. So here now he gives a different type of explanation, because these words Anumeya Lakshana can be translated in so many ways. So he says that it is your senses etc. which are Anumeya Lakshana. Buddhya Anumeyam eva Lakshanam yesham tai. That your qualities, because here he is taking the word guna as qualities of Krishna, and they are the grahya, to be experienced. So grahyai gunai, the qualities of Krishna to be experienced, they are buddhya anumeya lakshanai, that the intelligence or mind of a common person can only make an inference about them. Why? Because they are Satchidananda. They are not material. They cannot be experienced by any human being with the material senses. Swaprakashatva akhand jnananandadi bhir grahi. They are self-luminous, indivisible, conscious and blissful. So swa upadayai gunai. So these gunas which are accepted by him, sahasanapi virajmanopi, you exist with them, with these characteristics. Sanapi means existing with them. Tada guna agraha. So tasyaha prakriter gunan lepakan dukhatmakan anandayakmayatvam ne granasi. You do not accept the qualities of the Prakriti which are limiting. Lepakan means which condition you. Anything.
Covering.
Yeah, conditioning is also covering. They cover you, they condition you. Covering here means you become limited by them. Sukhanusai ragaha, dukhanusai dvesha, Niyog Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So if you enjoy anything, then immediately you become limited by that. That's why Krishna says Sukha Dukha Samay Kritva. So if you enjoy something, that limits you, and if you suffer something, that limits you. If you hate something, that is a limitation. And if you enjoy, that is a limitation. Material things are like that. So that's why it is called lepaka. It covers you, it conditions you, it binds you. And the ultimate outcome of that is dukkhatmakam. Their very nature is to give you dukkha. Everything in the material world ultimately brings trouble only, unless it is used in the service of Krishna. So you are Ananda Ekamaya, you are only pure Ananda, therefore you have no interest in this. If you have a cow, then you are not interested in the goat. Right? Material Maya is also called as a goat, right? Ajam ekam lohit sukla krishnam is compared to a goat of 3 colors, and Krishna is Gopal. He has got many cows, so he is not interested in this goat. So therefore he says nagranasi, you don't accept. Kutaha, why is that? Anavritatvat, because you are not avrita, you are not covered. Yohi prakriti gunair avrito bhavati saiv tan grinati liptasya bhavati yatha jiveti bhavati. Only that person who becomes covered by the gunas of prakriti, sattva, rajas and tamas, only that person becomes interested in enjoying these gunas. Anyone who is not covered by the gunas is not interested in this. Because one who is uncovered, why would he take interest in these things? So, ajnanena avritam jnanam ten muhyanti jantava. When Agyan covers one, and Agyan is a potency of Maya, then one becomes Mohita, bewildered, then one takes interest in these material objects. So like the Jiva, like the conditioned beings in this material world, and Krishna is not like that. Atastava bahirantram vyapyate prakritir guna na santi yatha jivasya shabd sparshade antascha shok mohade iti bhava. So this is a very nice explanation he gives. He says the meaning therefore of anavritastvam is na antar bahir. Right? That's what he said. So Bahirantarnamante. So these gunas are not outside you and not inside you. So in case of conditioned living beings here in the material world, the gunas are outside as sense objects, because we have external senses and there are external sense objects, and these senses are being attracted to the sense objects. And we also have the gunas inside in the form of emotions, sometimes distressful, sometimes bewildered, sometimes angry, sometimes sad. So these are internal gunas. So the jiva is covered inside, outside, and Krishna, he says is that you are neither this nor nothing is outside, nothing is outside. So you are free. Sarvatmanaha. Sarvatmana means sarv antaryami taya pravishtasyapi. Although you are sarvatmana, means you are the Atma of everyone, which means that you are inside everybody. Like Atma is inside the body, like that you are in everything, yet you are not implicated. Generally it will be understood that if you go inside, like if you go in a coal mine, then you will become black. Right? So he says you are inside the coal mine, yet you are not black, you are already black anyway. So Chadhana Dujarang is already black, no color can come on him. No matter how many coats you give him, he remains black on him. So therefore you are, although you are sarvantaryami, pravishtasyapi means you have entered, there still you are not implicated. That's why it is as if you have not entered. This is the meaning. It was said that you have entered, but you have not entered. Because what is the point of entering? You must come in contact with it. But if you go inside a river and you dive inside and you don't become wet and you have no problem, you can still breathe normally. So it is as if you have not dived, although you are inside. So Krishna is like that. Although he is inside, he is not inside. किंच केवलम न तवैव अपितु आत्मवस्तुने तव स्वीय पदार्थस्य सर्वस्य कृष्णस्यपि लीला विलास धाम भक्तादेर बहिरंतरम च व्याप्य ते लेपका प्रकृति गुणान संति इत्यर्थ. And then he gives a very nice explanation to this word atmavastuna. So first he said sarvatmana, you, and then he says atmavastuna. Now atmavastuna, as I said, these words are such nice, you can make so many different meanings. So atmavastuna means your vastu. Atmana vastu, atma vastu means your objects. Which objects? Your lila, vilas, dham, bhat, your abode, your associates, your devotees, all these are also not covered. Means they are also Sachidananda. So they are also not covered inside or outside by the Prakriti Guna. Just as you are not covered, they are also not covered. So that is the meaning of Sarvatmana. So that is the end of this commentary. If there is any question, otherwise we stop here.
Dear Babaji Maharaja, would you be so kind to explain Chakravartipada's statement in his commentary to the 16th shloka? So he uses Abrikrita Bhava and then Sodasha Vikarahi. So what are those elements that are not being transformed? Did he mean pradhana and kala?
Pradhana, Mahat Tattva, Ahankara.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, so here this covered. So the meaning of covered, what I understand, is it means being influenced by it. Is this correct? So when you said that we are covered from inside and outside by the Gunas, this means that being influenced
Yes.
in emotions and
Yes.
externally, how?
Externally, you want to eat something, and if you don't get it,
And then it's also an emotion. So.
yeah, but it's coming from outside. One is that emotion can come from within. You are just sitting and there's nobody, and still something happens in your mind,
That's true.
right?
Yes.
So that's coming from the past samskaras. And outside, the objects, they're created. Yes.
I have a small question here. So this entire description, would it be correct to say that this describes the Brahman aspect of Sri Krishna, because this is describing all, the example given is about Mahat Tattva and Pradhan and so on, which is also all pervading, this. So can it be said like that?
Yes. Not only that, but also about his abode and beyond. He's describing his Aishwarya part primarily, which includes Brahman. And also,
Which part of the verse would indicate abode and so on?
that's what he said, the last word of the 17th verse,
Atma,
Atma
okay.
Vastuna. Yes, Kamala.
Because you said that the mind has the natural, we go by comparison, okay? And then the mind is imposing on Krishna the experience of the material samskara that we have. So then, and then you say also that, maybe I misunderstood, that the spiritual experience is beyond that, but this happens naturally. So then at one point there will no any material emotion is imposed on Krishna or Radha whatever, and the real experience will come. You said that? So then the question is then how this a transformation of the material mind, or
No, it's not transformation. It is the same principle we have spoken so many times, that this, he was also saying Swaprakasha. See, these material objects are not self-luminous. And everything spiritual is self-luminous. Krishna's name, his form, his qualities, so they become manifest by themselves. Sevan mukho hijivado swam eva spuratyadha. So swam spurati means they self-manifest.
Babaji, I had a question.
Yes.
So here it seems that Krishna is being limited as being divine. These are being unentered. This is already present there. But we also know that he is also limited. And that he does enter, and sometimes he doesn't enter. So for example, he did not go to Duryodhana's house, he went to Vidura's house. Right? And it's not that he does both simultaneously.
Yes. But that not entering or entering, that we can understand. Because that's what we are doing also. But it is difficult to understand the other one, and that's why he's stressing the other side. so that we don't compare him to like our entering or not entering and think he is like us. So that's what is the point being made here.
So it is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. He says, though I am doing the karma, name karma limpanti, name karma palaspriya. So though he is doing the karma, but he is not become attached to that. So this is something like a standard example.
Yes. Limpanti also, their same means I am not implicated in them or I am not conditioned by them. Why is that? That he himself says, Name karma phalasya. Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phalasya. The karmas do not bind me. Why? Because I do not hanker for the results of the karma. So when you have attachment to the fruits of your action, then you become bound, which is naturally, you're waiting. That's the bondage. But if you don't have karma phala spriha, then you're free, you do and move on. He says, I do the action, but I don't have the spriha for the phala. So therefore they don't bind me.
Babaji Maharaj,
Yes.
I have also one question. That in Sankhya we did that Satkaryavat and Bhagavatam is also, like G. Goswami ji is also in this Paramatma Sandarbha is talking about Satkaryavat. For Satkaryavat we see that all the ingredients, like supposing we take milk to curd, so the entire milk is becoming curd. Now you are saying that when this Prakriti changes to Mahat and Mahat then further Ahankar, some part of Mahat is remaining. How do we understand this, that some part is remaining outside?
Just like if you have 5 kg of milk and you take 1 kg and you make yogurt, so 4 kg remains milk. What is the difficulty in that? So 4 kg did not undergo the vikar, it remains avikrita, means untransformed, and 1 kg got transformed.
Okay, so I was thinking like when we did Satkaryavat, that the entire effect is in the cause and cause is in the effect. So effect is cause unmanifested and like that way. So I was thinking the entire thing. So it's not like that.
No, entire thing means now you are talking about 1 kg. So when 1 kg of milk transforms into yogurt, then you talk about that 1 kg only, that in that 1 kg of yogurt, that 1 kg of milk is there in its unmanifest form. That's what it means. Forget about the other 4. Other 4 is not doing anything. So whenever some cause is becoming effect, then the cause becomes manifest into the effect, and before the effect remained hidden in the cause, and now the cause will remain hidden in the effect. So that is what Satkaryavat is.
And we also had learned that this material world is a transformation of his energy. In the sense, now when this shlokas are being said in this Bhagavatam, so then he is saying that you are not entered, in the sense that in your personal capacity is only your energy which is getting, like you are present through in the way of your energy. Is it like that?
Yeah, I mean, now he is personally present, but it is not that. You see, you have to understand that this mathematics here, material mathematics, does not work with it. Because something which is unlimited, how can he enter into anything, tell me? And then if he is unlimited, how can he have a form which is visible to you inside a room? So this is where the achintya comes, that your normal mathematics just fails. You will say that's why people say that, well, God has no form, because they cannot accommodate this. The problem with form is that form is always limited, and everybody understands that God is all pervading. Anybody who believes in God believes that God is all pervading, because the concept of God must be all pervading, otherwise He is not God. The basic concept of God is that He is all pervading, He is omnipotent and omniscient. Why? Because to create something you need knowledge. So you have to be knowledgeable, and to create this you have to be omniscient. And then now knowledge is not enough, you need potency, so you have to be omnipotent. And then you have to be omnipresent, because if you are creating all this, you must be more than this. It's like if you create a house, before you build a house, you are outside, you are not inside already in the house. So if you created the universe, He must be outside before He created it. And if the universe is vast, He is outside, that means He is everywhere. So therefore omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, these are the natural characteristics accepted by everybody as God. The thing is that, and with these characteristics, form doesn't seem to be possible if you apply logic, because form is limited. So that's why the Vedas say that this logic does not apply. Tarko apratishthānāt. Why Vedanta Sutra says that tarka does not work? Tarka out of work. Tarka goes out of work. So to understand divinity, to understand God, you have to rise above tarka, above logic. So that does not mean that he is illogical or everything about him is illogical. Logic is one part of him. So with logic you can understand up to a certain extent, as science is doing, but then beyond that science gets stuck. They cannot explain how light can be wave and particle simultaneously. They are stuck 75 years now. Because it doesn't fit in the logic.
So just one more little small comment, but it is more in a fun sense, not exactly with this teaching. But you had said that one who has cows is not then bothered about goats and likewise. But now I think because this effect of Kali Yuga, the cow milk is costlier than cow milk is goat milk, costlier than goat milk is camel milk, and costlier than camel milk is donkey milk. So donkey milk is the costliest these days.
So you want to keep donkeys now or what?
So I'm not interested in selling milk.
So what is the point you are making?
I'm just saying maybe because of this Kali Yuga, so all these effects are going topsy-turvy.
Okay.
Keep our eyes open.
I have a question related to the discussion which Kamala started. So, to realize how the name is Harinam is self-revealing, and the process to realize this is chanting. And now you also mentioned how the pastimes of Krishna, or here Vishwanath mentioned how the Lila, Vilas, Dham and so on are also self-revealing. So therefore, is it similar to like we are chanting to realize the spiritual nature of the name, that when we are reading and hearing the Bhagavatam, that this is also kind of the material carrier, so to speak, so that these pastimes and Dham and so on can self-manifest?
Yeah, you can also manifest. Manifest means you have an experience of them.
So this means that the sadhana to have an experience of that is to study that, or?
No, name can give everything. Name can reveal. Name is not going to reveal only name. It can also reveal form, dham, everything. These things are not limited. Just understand that everything is complete in itself. So name can reveal everything, just like dham can reveal everything. Bhagavatam can reveal everything. It's not that this one is going to reveal only this much.
Yes.
It's not like that.
Okay, but this means that...
Excuse me, possible question. Possible one question?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, yes.
Please, Gunamala wrote in one astrology books that in our age Krishna took post of Indra. Is it truth or not?
What is that?
Krishna in our age took post of Indra. This is true or not truth?
No.
Oh, okay. Because there's some problem. Sometimes he took post of Brahma in our age. He not Brahma. Some people told me.
Yeah, that Vishnu can take. Krishna doesn't take any post.
Ah, Vishnu. But now Vishnu, Brahma or Indra?
No, Brahma is Brahma.
Now Vishnu is.
No, Vishnu is not Brahma.
Sometimes no people.
Brahma is a Jiva. Brahma is not Vishnu.
Sometimes Jiva no available.
Yeah, but at
Jiva
present he is not like that. At present he is available.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jai Shri Radhe.